Good morning and welcome to our annual Veterans Day program. My name is Ryan Nicolai. I am the proud principal here at Tri-West Middle School. I'd like to welcome our staff, students, family members, and our guest speaker today, Mr. Shelby Hobbs, Master Sergeant, and most importantly, other veterans in attendance today. Also, a very special welcome to any family member and veteran who might be joining us via live stream today. We are proud to take time today as a building to show appreciation for our veterans. That's why we're here. At this time, I would ask that all members in attendance that are able to stand to please stand, remain silent as Boy Scout Troop number 309 presents our colors and leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Troop 309.
Color guard, attention. Color guard, advance. Color guard, prepare to post the colors. Color guard, post the colors. Audience, will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Sky and salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard, return. Color guard dismissed. Audience, you may now be seated.
Thank you again to members of Troop 309 out of Pittsburgh. Today we do take time to recognize and celebrate our current and former military personnel as part of our Veterans Day program here at Tri-West Middle School. I know I speak on behalf of the entire staff and entire of our student body to our packed house today. It's great to see a packed house when I say thank you to all the men and women who have served for our country or are currently serving for our country so that we can live and have the freedoms we have in this great nation. I think it's part of our jobs as educators, our teachers, administrators, and as parents, you're educating your students on the importance of recognizing and appreciating our military, not just today, but every day. I do ask that you enjoy the program. Thanks for being here again. A huge thanks to our veterans that are here. We appreciate you taking time today to be recognized, and we appreciate your service to our country. At this time, I ask that you please rise again as we honor America with our 8th grade band under the direction of Mr. Kyle Hartzog with the playing of our national anthem. At this time, I'd like to welcome 8th grade student Devin Fox to the podium. Devin.
Hello. Hello and welcome to the Veterans Day program. Students, faculty, community, and veterans alike, thank you for being here today. We would like to take a minute to discuss with you the importance of Veterans Day, why we observe this day, and what it means to be a veteran. The day was originally known as Armistice Day and was observed in recognition of the end of the First World War. Though fighting had ceased 7 months prior, the treaty that officially ended World War I was signed in June. But the armistice, which is a temporary ban of fighting, went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. An act approved May 13, 1938, made the 11th of November in each year a legal holiday, a day to be dedicated to the cause of world peace and to be thereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. Armistice Day was primarily a day set aside to honor veterans of World War I, but after World War II required the greatest mobilization of soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen in the nation's history, and after American forces fought aggression in Korea, the 83rd Congress, at the urging of veteran service organizations, amended the Act of 1938 by striking out the word armistice and inserting in its place the word veterans. With the approval of this legislation, Public Law 380, on June 1st, 1954, November 11th became a day to honor American veterans of all wars. At this time, please welcome members of the Tri-West Middle School choirs in grades 6 through 8. They will be singing the military medley. Members of each military branch, please rise and be recognized during your armed service song. Thank you for your service.
Thank you again to Mr. Hartzog and the band for the national anthem, and thank you to nearly 150 choir members under the direction of Mr. Childs for that great rendition. That's one of my favorite parts of any Veterans Day program, is recognizing the veterans with the military medley. I always get very emotional. I know I'm a big guy, but I'm an emotional guy. Love that song. Truly appreciate that. So, Mr. Childs, I think you did it in about a minute and a half. That's a well-oiled machine over there, so appreciate it. At this time, I would like to introduce one of our staff members, teacher Mr. Ben Essex. Mr. Essex teaches technology here at Tri-West Middle School. He's a former Marine and current National Guard member. He'd like to say regards to Veterans Day and his experience. Mr. Essex.
Morning. My name's Ben Essex. I teach technology exploratory here, and I've been affiliated with this program for about 14 years now, and I have never come in uniform, and I thought, there's a first for everything. My students never get to see me in uniform, so I thought I would come in uniform today. It's an honor and a privilege to share my thoughts with you today. 23 years ago, I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. Serving in the reserve, I was able to attend Purdue University, pursuing my degree in education at the same time. During this time, I deployed to Iraq in 2003 and again in 2006 in support of Operations Iraqi Freedom and Enduring Freedom. Upon completion of my first contract, I chose to get out of the service. At that time, I was more interested in starting my professional career and starting a family. 10 years later, in the fall of 2018, I re-enlisted in the Indiana National Guard. I missed the camaraderie. I missed belonging to a team, being a part of something bigger than myself, and all the learning experiences and growth that come with that. Recently, I completed the State Officer Candidate School program, earning my commission last spring. Sometimes students ask about my experience in the service. I'm usually happy to answer, but I often get the sense that students are more interested in what I would describe as typical. Myself, on the other hand, I'm more interested in discussing the missions that have had the most impact on me grow and mature as a man. Typical missions, students often want to know what weapon systems I've trained on or shot, equipment that I've operated, if it was dangerous when I was overseas. Myself, on the other hand, I'm more interested in discussing character development missions. Missions that stick out in my mind are the ones in which we did humanitarian service work. When I was in Iraq in 2003, I remember a lot of days being just hot and dirty, but some days you get an opportunity to do something that is just out of the kindness out of your heart for somebody else, and these are the missions that stood out in my mind. So in Iraq in 2003, we came across a playground that was, for better words, it was really in a state of disrepair, very dilapidated and torn down. And the Marines of Bravo Company said, oh no, this just needs a little TLC and love. So we broke out some tools, and after a while we had it operational again. And we didn't stop there, then we started painting. But it wasn't long before we had a bunch of smiling faces out there playing on that playground again. And it's one of those days you step back and you say, I don't ever remember getting the training on how to repair a merry-go-round, but we did something right today. Other missions that stick out in my mind, we got to build a community center in Panama on my annual training in 2005. It was just a small building, but it had electric and running water and ceiling fans when we left. And you're talking about an area where these people are living in very, they're not well off. Many of them don't even have creature comforts like air conditioning. And Panama is very close to the equator, and it's swelteringly hot. In 2006 in Iraq, we built some supplies for a local school. We took desks and paper and writing utensils and a large trunk filled with candy to people that were literally working with sticks in the dirt before we came. You should have seen the appreciation and gratitude in their eyes. There's something that's really rewarding about doing something kind for someone else in need. I cannot overstate the positive impact that the service has had on me. It certainly has made me view the world through a different lens, one that gives perspective that's only acquired through adversity and sacrifice that I would not have otherwise attained. It's been an adventure, a learning experience, an opportunity to grow personally and professionally, sometimes marked with tragedy. I wear a bracelet on my hand as a reminder of that. It's got the name of a brother that was lost on my 2006 deployment. So it's occasionally you do have a dangerous mission. That comes with the territory. But more often it's filled with hard work, good times, training and learning opportunities along some of the finest people on God's green earth. If I could be 18 tomorrow and do it all over again, I would not change a thing. In fact, I would encourage any student that is sitting here today that has an interest in looking into the military to pursue that interest as you grow older. I cannot say enough positive things about the experiences that I've had, the pride that I feel for serving, the opportunities it's afforded me, or the quality of people that I've had the pleasure to serve alongside, work with, and learn from. On this day, I'd like to say thank you to all veterans. To those veterans that perished in the line of duty, thank you will never be enough. Students, always be mindful of that many a life and limb have been shed for your opportunities. Active, retired, near or far, young or old, veterans, we say thank you today for your selfless service to your country and to your fellow man. Thank you. At this time, Mr. Hartzog and our 8th grade band will perform Celebration of Taps.
introduce our guest speaker today, Mr. Shelby Hobbs, Master Sergeant retired, United States Air Force, serving from July 3, 1968 to February 1, 1992. Vietnam Veteran Award, the Meritorious Service Medal, Vietnam Cross of Gallantry with Palm, and Korean Defense Service Medal. Please welcome Mr. Sergeant Master Shelby Hobbs.
Well, I got a lot of interesting people to follow. There was a young lady that gave the talk from the 8th grade on Veterans Day and the history lesson we learned a little bit at school. What about the choir and the band? I think we owe them another round of applause. Okay, I gotta put some glasses on where I can see here. I wrote this speech, and I've been sitting over here all morning, and I've been changing it already, you know. But I found an article one time, it's called, "It Is the Veteran." And I've read this several times at different functions, and I want to read it first today before I get into anything. I think this really explains what a veteran is, okay? It is the veteran, not the preacher, who has given us freedom of religion. It is the veteran, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the veteran, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the veteran, not the campus organizer, who has given us the freedom to assemble. It is the veteran, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the veteran, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the veteran who salutes the flag. It is the veteran who serves under the flag, to be buried by the flag, so protesters can burn the flag. That's all those jobs. Veterans made it possible for the people in this free country to have those jobs. You know. Okay. Good morning. Okay. All right. I'm Air Force Master Sergeant Shelby Hobbs. I would like to welcome all the veterans, students, teachers, administrators, parents, friends, family. Thank you for having me here today. I am truly honored and humbled to have the opportunity to speak to you. Veterans Day is a special holiday that honors all those who have served or serving in the United States military, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard, the Air Force, and recently our new Space Force. Please allow me to give just a brief history lesson. We've already heard this, but I'm going to read it again anyway, okay? World War I was fought by many countries for 5 years. It began 109 years ago in 1914. It ended in 1918. The United States fought in this war from 1917 to 1918. In 1918, on the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month, the warring countries signed an agreement to end that war, and we had an armistice. On that day, people throughout the world celebrated. They were happy. They went out into the streets. They sang songs. They hugged. They welcomed their loved ones home. They were very thankful that that war was over, that nobody else would be hurt or die during that war. And as we all know, the nickname of that war was, "This is the war to end all wars." Of course, we know that didn't happen. Wasn't too many years after that, World War II, and since World War II, we've had Korea, Vietnam, the Cold War, war on terrorism, Panama, Afghanistan, all throughout the Middle East. And right now, there's wars going on throughout this world in Ukraine, wars in Israel that we are having to deal with. And our military servicemen and women are there today. While we are here with our freedom, they are protecting that. You know, tonight when you're asleep, remember they're out there protecting you. They will be there this Saturday. They will be there this Sunday while we were out enjoying our livelihood. And in this case, I think Tri-West, the high school, has a pretty good football game coming up Saturday. There you go, guys. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So we have that freedom thanks to our veterans. Okay. You know, President Woodrow Wilson made November the 11th Armistice Day. Okay. And a lot of people want to know what the significance is to Armistice Day and some of the historical events that went around it. Well, I found a few things I thought was pretty interesting that I learned in school, but several years ago, so I'd forgotten a lot of this. On November the 11th, 1921, after the war, 3 years after the war, an unknown American soldier who was killed in World War I was buried at Arlington National Cemetery in Arlington, Virginia. There is approximately 639 acres, which oversees the view of Washington, D.C., the Potomac River. And if you've never been there, put that on your bucket list. It's a beautiful place to go. And there are approximately 400,000 veterans buried in that cemetery. 400,000. Okay. The date, November 11th of 1921, was also when unknown soldiers were interned at the highest national places of honor in both England and France. They were buried at Westminster Abbey and the Arch de Triomphe, respectively. Because these memorials occurred on November 11th and became 11 a.m. on November the 11th, that was the official day that we now honor as Veterans Day. And as our young lady told us earlier, in 1954, it was changed from Armistice Day to Veterans Day. Why do we celebrate Veterans Day today? Right here. Everybody in this auditorium. You know, the family members that support their veterans, you know. When I went to Southeast Asia, I missed my family more than the war bothered me. I was young. I was 17 years old. I was asked, "Why did you join the Air Force?" Well, I was in the 6th grade in Stapleton Elementary School in Denver, Colorado. And my neighbor was a master sergeant in the United States Air Force that worked at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. He drove every day from Denver to Colorado Springs to go to work. I thought that was a little bit far to have to go to work every day, but he did that. And he had no sons. And they had a bring your son to work day. Well, he asked me if I wanted to go and be his surrogate son. I said, okay, I'll do that. And I went down there and I was so impressed with the Air Force Academy and the cadets and the whole 9 yards that took place that day. And at that time, I said, I'm joining the Air Force. I graduated high school May 26, 1968. And the 3rd of July, I was in basic training in San Antonio, Texas. And the first thing the Air Force taught me, and I think that all branches of the service know this a little bit when you get to basic training, they teach you how to get on and off the bus more than one time. You get off the bus. Oh, you didn't do it fast enough, get back on the bus. So we did that for about an hour and a half. The 7th thing they taught me was how to pick my bag up and put my bag down so they all sounded in unison. Everybody, when you said put your bag down, you didn't hear thump, 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 thump. It was thump. Everybody did it at the same time. Well, you know, I got to thinking about that later years in my career. I said, why did they do that? And it comes to one conclusion. They wanted us to be a cohesive team, working together and understanding each other's thoughts and what we needed to do as veterans working together to protect us war. I was an aircraft mechanic. I worked B-52s, F-4s, F-15s. I really enjoyed working aircraft maintenance. When I got out of the Air Force, I was fortunate enough I got to go to work for United Airlines as a mechanic. It taught me a good career. I enjoyed it very much, and I would do it all again. I think the most important thing that I learned, though, was respect for my fellow veterans. They are the most important people in my life. For 23 years, 6 months, and 28 days, we fought side by side together. My most enjoyable moment, though, in the military, when I was in Korea, I got to work with a group of missionaries. We helped build an orphanage for a bunch of young kids. You know, being part of the military is great, but helping them orphans and building a community center and building a place for them to stay, that was just amazing. Right now, as I said earlier, we gathered here today, there is millions of veterans throughout the world that are doing the same thing we're doing. And why do they do this? Because they're proud. America is a very, very good place to live. And I'm going to give you one tidbit about Indiana. And I don't know how many of you know this. Some of you probably do. I've been in a lot of different states. This state is very patriotic. Outside of Washington, D.C., Indiana, especially Marion County, has more war memorials and monuments than any other state or county in the United States. I've been to Washington, D.C., and I've seen them all. But to know that about Indiana, 'cause I'm not an original Hoosier. I'm a Buckeye. Don't hold that against me, okay? But you know, this is a good state. I've learned to be here, and I've loved it, and I'll always be here. So now at this time, I'm going to say, God bless our veterans. God bless the Tri-West family, the school family. God bless America. Thank you.
It takes a little time to get 150 choir students back on stage here. Let's give Sergeant Master Shelby Hobbs another round of applause. As he was talking, several things resonated with me, but a couple things stood out, and that was when he said, when you're at home at night sleeping, they're there. They're there Saturday, they'll be there Sunday, they'll be there Monday, they're there. And the other thing is just the idea of teamwork, being a cohesive group, what that meant to him. So thank you again for sharing a very positive message. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to our choir once again as they sing, "We Honor You." Mr. Childs.
Sacrifices made, for courage you display.
Thank you again to our 8th grade band and Mr. Hartzog, to Mr. Childs and the 6th to 8th grade choirs. We appreciate you. Thanks to Mr. Essex, Mr. Hobbs for speaking today. We appreciate your words. Students, thank you for being great listeners today. We appreciate it. Family members, thank you for being here. Before we do leave, I want to do one last thing. We did recognize each branch of the military during the military medley, but I'd like just one last time for any veteran to stand at this time and be recognized for your service. All veterans, please. Thank you. We appreciate you taking time this morning to join us. This does conclude our program. Students, again, thank you so much for being great listeners today. That means a lot to me as building principal and a lot to the school community. So I know they're excited to get back to class. I'm going to let them leave first. So what we're going to do, I think, is just we'll release this side. You're going back to first period for 20, 30 minutes, something like that. But we'll release this whole section to go back to first period, and then we'll get you guys next. Thank you again.